Okay, this is day 10 notes, and this is about the focus and the directrix. So you're going to want to have the day 10 notes and then also some graph paper, which I think should have been in the PDF, or maybe you can just find some other ones online. Okay, we're going to be jumping back and forth through the different pages. I don't quite like the order that we've worked this out in. So starting off, we're going to start with a new definition of a parabola. So before you know that a parabola is something that follows the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, that's nothing new. But what we learned for this one is that a parabola is the set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a fixed line and a fixed point not on that line. Okay, so the parabola would be the set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a fixed line and a fixed point not on that line. Okay, well, the fixed point is called the focus, and the fixed line is called the directrix. Okay, and you can see in the image over on the right hand side that in this line, right down here, and then there's a point. Now, in the very middle, it's up 3, and down from this point, it's down 3. And so that's 1 point on the parabola. Okay, now imagine going over up to this point up here. That's a certain distance, and it's the same distance up from the line. Okay, same as over here. If you go up from here, you'll hit the parabola, and they get that because it's the same distance as what's there. So it'd be the same the other way. This distance, if you measure it from that point, would give you this point. Okay, and this distance right here would also be that distance. Okay, so this is how they actually come up with parabolas. Now, we haven't often learned this definition until now, so it's something that we're going to be focusing on. Okay, now actually before we look at this page, now I want you to go ahead and slide over to the next page. Okay, so this is the most basic form of a parabola, y equals ax squared. Okay, one thing that I need you to focus on is that c is the distance from the vertex of a parabola to the focus on a parabola. Okay, also it would be the distance from the directrix to the vertex. Okay, so it's the focus to the vertex or the directrix to the vertex. Well, let's talk about a. So a is the number multiplying x squared. And one thing that it tells us is that if a is positive, the parabola is going to open up. Versus if it's negative, that would be the second one, then the parabola is going to open down. Okay? Now, if there is nothing over here, like plus bx plus c, all of that, if that doesn't exist, then the vertex is at the origin, 0, 0. Then the focus is going to be at 0, c. And the directrix is going to be at y equals negative c. Okay, that would look something like this. Okay, so here's your vertex. Your focus is going to be some point above it. Your directrix is going to be some line below it. And the parabola always goes through the vertex, and inside the parabola is your focus, that point right there. So you can think about it, the parabola never crosses the line, which is the directrix, and it always contains the point, which is the focus. Okay? Now, for the negative one, it's going to be completely opposite. So the focus, if it opens down when a is negative, the focus is at 0, negative c. Okay, so again, we have a parabola. That's my vertex. My focus is going to be at negative c. My directrix is going to be at y equals positive c, which is up here. Sorry, let me do that in blue. Up here. Okay, now your parabola would look like this. Remember, again, it contains that point of the focus, and it goes away from the line, the directrix. Great. Okay, so moving on. Let's write an equation of the parabola with a vertex at the origin and a focus at 0, negative 5. Well, that's not so bad. Okay, so vertex is at the origin, focus is at 0, -5. So let's go ahead and think about y equals ax squared. Well, how far is it from our origin, where our vertex is, to where our focus is? Okay, one thing that we have from before, so one equation that you need to be familiar with is this one right here, where a equals 1 over 4c. Remember, c is the distance from the vertex to the focus. Well, how far is it from 0, 0 to 0, -5? One way you can figure this out is by graphing it. So here's 0, 0, and here is 0, -5. Well, how far was that? Count up. 1, 2, 3, 4. It was a distance of 5. Okay, so from that, c equals 5. Okay, well, then what's our a value? 1 over 4 times 5, or a equals 1 over 20. So you can start to rewrite your equation. It's 1 over 20 times x squared. Now here's the one thing. Is it up or down? Does it open up or down? And that'll change whether our a value is going to be positive or negative. Well, you have to look at what you have so far. We know our vertex is at 0, 0. And we know our focus is at 0, -5. That means that our directrix, so that's our vertex, our focus is right here. Our directrix is same distance away on the positive side. Remember, your parabola never crosses the directrix, and it always contains the focus. So your parabola is going to open down, which is going to make this a negative 1 over 20 x squared. Okay, so example 4 then. With the focus at 0, 4, you can sketch a quick graph, or again, there should be graph paper attached. There's a focus at 0, 4, and a vertex at 0, 0. Okay, so we know our parabola is going to contain that right there. So it's going to open up. So a is positive. Now, what is our a value? Remember, a is 1 over 4c. So how far is it from your vertex to your focus? Well, just count up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a is 1 over 4 times 4, which is 1 over 16. A is 1/16. That means y equals 1/16 x squared. Again, this is easy because we have our vertexes at the origin. Okay, so identify the focus and directrix from the equation. Well, we know that this one would be opening down because it's negative. And we have this right here to help us with where our focus is. How far away is it? Remember, it's a equals 1 over 4c. Well, that's our a value. So we have negative 1/16 equals 1 over 4c. Well, you can actually just cross multiply and solve this. So 4c, or negative 4c, equals 16. So that's just cross multiplication. And divide by a -4. So c equals -4. Which means that your focus is here at -4. So focus is at 0, -4. Directrix is going to be at y equals +4, the same distance up, just like that. Okay, one that goes in the opposite direction, this one right here. So this one opens up, because it's a positive something x squared. Sorry, that didn't quite hit the origin. Okay, a equals 1 over 4c. Okay, well, the a value from this one is 1/4. So 1/4 equals 1 over 4c. Remember, c is the distance from your vertex to your focus. Cross multiply, you get 4c equals 4, or c equals 1, which means that your focus is up 1. So it's at 0, 1. And your directrix then is that y equals, remember, it's the opposite direction, so it's down 1 from the vertex, or y equals -1. Okay, so that gives you these two that you can do right here and right here, and then click over for part 2 of this.